radio. And we want to say a special welcome to our friends joining us via Facebook. Ricky, we've been off for a couple of weeks, so I'm really, really excited to be back. And as usual, we have a really, really packed show for you guys. We're gonna, as usual, have our conversations with our young football players from Generation Next. We're also gonna have a group, we have speak to a couple of young players from the Cedar Valley Golf Course, and they're here with their president, Mr. Avery Jonas. The usual recap of the Gomez Netherlands Insurance Youth League, Football Profile 268. Aston Joseph is going to be here to give us an update on the Premier Division, and one of our favorite segments, as a matter of fact, from a parent's perspective. And we'll wrap up the show as usual with Dr. Millis. Ricky, welcome. Good night. Another packed show.
Yeah, well, it's wonderful. It's wonderful to be back again after a 2-week hiatus. And of course, we are in our temporary studio, Zico. As you can see behind us, Avery has done a fantastic job in terms of refurbishing, quite a bit of renovations.
I'm liking the new look.
Yeah, let's hope our producer Shannon fixes up with as nice a studio as the new studio is.
Yeah, we gotta be sure to mention that.
Yeah, well, that's why I'm doing it over the air so that everybody can know we're asking Shannon to do whatever influence he can do.
Just applying a little bit of pressure, just a little bit, not too much. Not gonna put Shannon on it too much stress. But you know what? Before we start. It's very, very important that we thank our sponsors, because without the sponsors, then this show and a lot of the things that we do at Generation Next definitely won't happen. So.
Yeah, of course. Just to reiterate that these sponsors are the sponsors of the Generation Next Football Club. Mm-hmm. We are still seeking actively to the corporate Antigua, the sponsors for the show itself, so that we can keep this wonderful show that we consider going for as long as ever. And now, without further ado, we'd like to thank our sponsors. I think we have that queued up. GNFC wish to thank our corporate sponsors who have invaluably contributed to ensuring the holistic development of our nation's youth in sports and education. Our platinum sponsor, North Coast Hardware, with 2 locations, the Village Walk on Fries Hill Road and on the Blue Waters Main Road. For all your hardware needs, North Coast Hardware is the place to go. Our gold sponsor, Frank Wall Limited, the Candyman, the sole distributor for the M&M brands and lots of confectionery. Our silver sponsor, Kenneth A. Gomez & Sons, famous for fairness, located in the Royal Palm Court on Fries Hill Road. For all your insurance needs, make sure you check Kenneth A. Gomez & Sons. Our silver sponsor, Island Photo, with 2 locations, the Royal Palm Court and Fries Hill Road and Lower Redcliffe Street. For all your photography needs, passports and pictures, frames, head over to Island Photo. Our bronze sponsor, Beach Limers. For fine dining on the ocean at Fort James, Beach Limers is the place to be. Our cargo sponsor, Antigua Cargo, above Bike Plus on Independence Avenue. For all your shipping requirements, large or small, John Andrew and his wonderful staff will take care of you. Our football sponsor, XL Engineering on Fries Hill Road, distributors for FG Wilson Generators. For all your generating needs and maintenance, call XL Engineering. Our brokerage sponsor, Francis Trading Agency on High Street. For anything to do with brokerage, check out Francis Trading Agency.
So those were the list of our sponsors, and we want to say a special thank you to each and every one of them for providing us with the framework and also the incentive to keep the work that we do at Generation Next in developing our young football players. And so while we're talking about young football players, I want to welcome to the studio 2 of our U11 players, Jaden Challenger and Michael Brooks. Young men, good night, and thanks for joining us on the GN Sports Show.
Thank you, Jim.
Okay, then Jaden, let's start with you. You're more seasoned in Generation Next Football Club. What school do you attend?
Island Academy.
Okay, and what class are you in?
Grade 4.
Grade 4. Do you have a favorite subject, Jaden?
Oh, I like history.
Okay, fine.
Oh, let me shake your hand, young man. History student.
I think that's the
first
history student we had. So the last time we were on, we had the first with
I think art.
Art, yeah. And now we have the first with history, so congratulations.
Excellent
You're the
stuff.
first history favorite subject here on the GN Sports Show.
How about you, Michael? What school do you attend?
I attend St. Nicholas Primary School.
Nicholas. And what's your favorite subject?
Math.
And
Good stuff.
What class are you in?
I'm in grade 5.
Okay. So you're soon going up to, you have one more grade and then you're up into high school. Okay.
Looking forward to it?
Yes.
I bet you are. Hey, here's the secret. When you get to high school, you're really closer to finishing school than you are when you started. But don't tell mommy I told you that.
Okay, and what's your favorite football team, Jaden?
Well, I like Man City.
Man City. And who's your favorite player?
I don't really have weight on the team.
You don't necessarily have to be
player.
on the team. It could be,
Doesn't
on
have to be
another
Man
team.
City,
My
just
favorite player is
player.
myself.
Oh, very good. And give me big up there. I love that answer. That's another
That's-
first.
yeah, that's
Jaden,
it.
you're knocking him out
Yeah.
to the ballpark today.
Excellent. You back yourself, Jaden. Keep
Yeah.
doing that. Keep doing that. That's excellent. How about you, Michael?
My favorite team is Barcelona.
Barca. Let me guess. Favorite player? Messi?
Mm-hmm.
Ah, surprise, surprise. Hey, look at the bright side. You didn't say Tottenham.
And you didn't say Arsenal.
Really, Ricky? Really?
I told you already, we're still ahead of you in the tables, huh?
Anyway,
Okay, so
this-
I have
listen,
more
listen.
bragging rights
Yeah,
than
but
you.
we're,
Okay, all right.
we're focusing on the young
Yes,
men
all
from
right.
generation.
No, that I brought that
Not the
up.
Premier
Okay, fine.
Division.
All right. Now, you guys are now playing in the Gomez Netherlands Insurance Youth Football League. Do you know what the standings of your team is?
What position are you
What
in?
position are you in the standing?
I'm in midfield.
No,
Okay, fair enough. What I was saying in the position of the team
team.
itself.
Are you in first or second?
First,
or
second, or
third?
third? If you don't, I don't even remember, to be honest. I'm not meaning to put you on the spot. I think you're in third
I
place.
think you're in third.
Yeah, I think you're in third place.
In with a really good chance of winning the whole thing.
Yeah, and anyway, to what position now that you're alluding to? What position do you play to?
I play midfield.
Midfield? And
I
Jaden?
play defense.
You play defense. Yeah, I know that he's pretty strong in
Yeah.
pretty strong in his
Strong,
defense.
solid player. Good stuff.
It's hard to get past him.
So what are some of the teams that you enjoy playing against, Jaden?
Well, sometimes Liberta because they're kind of hard sometimes.
Yeah, Liberta's a good team.
Yeah, they have improved tremendously from last year.
You're doing really good work at Liberta. How about you, Michael?
I like playing against the wings because, it's someone different. Because normally we get, as you said, Liberta. We don't always get wings to verse.
So you enjoy playing against,
Yes.
you enjoy the new challenge.
Yes.
Excellent stuff.
So you're looking forward to winning your division
Yes,
Yes.
and collecting your gold medals and the trophies.
Trophies and gold medals at presentation ceremony is really nice.
it's fun.
It's fun.
Oh, definitely. Well, I think that's about it we have for these youngsters here. Now is the fun time.
Yes, customary in our show that we do a shout out. Anybody want to shout out? I see Michael rubbing his hands
Oh,
together.
wait,
Michael,
before we ask him with a shout out, it's something that I needed to say. I'd like to thank Colin and Lou Turner, who are presently watching us on the big screen at Potter's, taking a break from their quiz night just to watch us.
excellent.
And I'm not too certain if it's just because of the show or because their grandson is here.
I think maybe Michael had a little bit. Maybe that's why Michael was so excited.
Yeah, and also I must say that both Colin and Lou have been very supportive of Generation X Football Club from its inception. All the coaches that we have brought down there, they have accommodated with meals. Yeah, so we'd like to thank them profusely for their support over the years, and now we have their grandson in our academy.
So shout out. Since Michael is so excited, I think we should let him go first. Anybody want to shout out, Mike?
I like to shout out my parents and all the people who are watching me tonight. Thanks for watching me.
Okay, and what's your parents' names?
Elaine Turner and James Brooks.
Okay. Anybody else, or that's it?
Yeah, I'm going to shout out your other sister, Mikey.
Yeah, okay. Jaden, how about you? I want to shout out.
I would like to shout out my parents and my brother. The reason I'm shouting out my brother is because he's the reason that I'm playing football.
Okay, that's
Excellent
great.
stuff.
And your brother's name, of course, is
Vernon or VJ.
VJ, yeah.
One
And then
of
one
our
of our
players.
quality players, yes. Anybody else you want to shout out?
My parents,
And their names?
Michael Brown and Brandon Challenger.
Okay. Well, we'd like to thank you two youngsters and wish you the very best of luck in Saturday's games.
And all the rest of the games for the season.
All the rest of the games. And
hope you guys can win the division and collect your trophy and the medals at the end. Thank you guys. Thanks boys for joining us. So that was two of our under 11 players, Jaden Challenger and Michael Brooks, just giving us an idea of what they're like in terms of their personality and their games. And while we're speaking about these guys, just remember every Saturday we have our Gomez Netherlands Insurance Youth Football League at the Technical Training Center. That's the ABFA's Technical Training Center, or the AstroTurf as it's commonly known. Drop in. Kids are going to be there playing from 9 till all the way down to 1, 2:30 in the afternoon.
No, until
maybe,
4.
Maybe a little, maybe. So it's a full day, it's a complete day of football.
And this goes on until the beginning of June, actually.
Because as soon as
their divisions are finishing.
As soon as our divisions, the younger divisions are finished, the under 17 is going to start. So make it a point of interest. You can drop by on Saturdays, have a little fun, watch the kids play. We want to thank you guys for joining us. We're going to take a quick, short commercial break, and when we come back, we're going to be joined by Mr. Avery, Jonas, and two of his young aspiring golfers. Stay tuned. We'll be back with a lot more from the GN Sports Show here on ABS.
Time to wake up. Time to prepare for the day. Time to learn. Time to make a difference. Time to look after yourself. Time to see your healthcare provider. Don't let cervical cancer stop you from unleashing your potential. Now is the time to get vaccinated. Now is the time to get screened. Now is the time to end cervical cancer. For more information, visit us at www.paho.org/endcervicalcancer.
In case of an earthquake and the place starts shaking, drop, cover, and hold on. Drop, cover, and hold on. In case of an earthquake,
there's a few tips that can keep you from harm. In case of an earthquake, you gotta stay calm. Move away from doors, windows, and things that can fall. Try not to use steps or elevators at all.
drop, protect your head and your face. Don't go running all over the place.
Cover,
under a bed or a table, against a wall that's firm and stable.
hold on.
You must hold on, don't panic, stay calm.
Don't move until the shaking stops.
Here it is.
Drop, cover, and hold on.
Drop, cover, and hold on. In case of an earthquake.
Drop, cover, and hold on.
Learn how to protect yourself during an earthquake. Log on to weready.org. That's weready.org for more information.
The library you wished you could take with you. Is now in your hands. As Antigua and Barbuda looks towards the future, we present to you the ebook with updated apps, software, and added textbooks. Avoid unnecessary spending on laptops and PCs. The future is now. The ebook, so much more than a book.
Many people struggle to maintain a lasting relationship, sometimes opening up to someone, believing they are different, only to be disappointed. They say there's always some madness in love, but there's also some reason in madness. Matters of the heart. Let's find the solution together.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the GN Sports Show. And joining us in the studio now is the president of the Cedar Valley Golf Club, Mr. Avery Jonas. And Mr. Jonas has brought two young golfers to join us tonight, Mr. Demar James and Ms. Sarafina Nicholas. We'd like to thank you for joining us on the GN Sports Show. Welcome and good night.
Thank you.
Well, I know Avery from a completely different sporting discipline. Avery was one of the best midfielders in the generation before mine, and I used to watch. And he wouldn't admit to the level of his play at that point, but he was one of the better players that I would have had the opportunity to play against. And believe it or not, I would have watched a lot of Avery playing growing up, and try to steal a couple of moves. But no, Avery is doing wonderful things in the world of golf. He's president of the Cedar Valley Golf Club. So we'd like to talk to Avery first of all. Give us an idea of what's happening in terms of golf generally in Antigua, and then we'll segue a little bit into the young players, because you've brought two young golfers. So give us an idea of what the landscape is like in the world of golf in Antigua, because I'm getting the sense it's not one of the more popular sports. You don't hear much of it, you don't see much of it. So give us an idea of what's going on, and we'll pick up our discussion from there.
Okay. Well, thanks for the nice intro, and good evening again to your audience. The football was many moons ago, and if I could just make one small correction, I'm the president of the Antigua Barbuda Golf Association, which we play golf at Cedar Valley, but president of the Golf Association.
Golf Association.
Yeah.
Excellent.
So, in terms of golf and what's going on, we just had the Antigua Open Championships, Antigua Barbuda Open Championships 2 weekends ago. We had a very successful tournament. The numbers were up. Usually, we have just over double-figure numbers from St. Kitts, Nevis, and neighboring islands. I think this year we had as many as 20. So between the golfers that came from the neighboring islands and our local golfers, including our juniors, we had about 75 players participating in the tournament 2 weekends ago. Antigua's own and Demar's older brother, Omari James, emerged as the Open champion. So he had the best scores over the 2-day period. So he has regained the crown from Raymond Percival from St. Kitts. So that's the Antigua Open. In terms of golf, I think we have a good buzz right now. We do have quite a few initiatives going on at the golf course. We have, Saturday Cups, basically where we just have an ongoing tournament for 4 months, and at the end of it, who has won the most Sundays get a trophy and other prizes. So I think we have a good buzz going on right now. We have some things to build on. And of course, we have a fantastic junior program, so that is something we hope to build on as well.
Right, so tell us a little bit about the junior program, because traditionally it's not one of the sports that most of our young players gravitate to, our young athletes gravitate to. What do you think, in your opinion, would be some of the barriers, for lack of a better word? What are some of the barriers that prevents more of our young athletes gravitating towards golf?
I just think that there's been a perception that golf is, perhaps expensive, and people, without knowing, somewhat stay away from it. The junior program is free, so if there are any parents out there who have young ones who are interested in golf, it's free. You bring them up on a Saturday, and they get an opportunity to enter the program. They are provided with tools, clubs, and whatever else are needed to start learning the game. Of course, when you get older and you come out of the junior program and you wish to continue playing, you have to buy, 1 or 2 equipment. But we have a culture of helping each other at the golf course. So it is not to say that you're going to have to go out and buy a whole big set of clubs. I will give you one, somebody else will give you one, and so on and so on.
So you have your set complete.
Yeah, exactly. So I said it's a good program. It's free. I must emphasize that, and anybody can come and participate. Bring the juniors out on a Saturday. If you come up on any Saturday between 10 and 11 and 12, you will see just a whole bunch of young kids out there practicing on the range. So
And that's excellent. For me,
Yeah.
there's whether it's football, basketball, cricket, golf, anything that you have a large group of young players involved in is fantastic. That's excellent for me.
yeah,
While we're talking about juniors, along with Mr. Jonas came Mr. Demar James and Ms. Sarafina Nicholas. And as Mr. Jonas would have alluded to, these are two players in the junior program. So we're going to have a quick chat. You know what, ladies first. Don't worry about it. So Sarafina Nicholas, give us an idea. First of all, welcome and thanks for joining us on the GN Sports Show. How old are you, first of all?
I'm 16.
16?
Yes.
And give us an idea, because before we came back on here, I told you this is your segment to brag about yourself. So tell us about Sarafina Nicholas, the golf player.
Well, I go to the St. Anthony Secondary School. I'm in 5th form. Besides golfing, I'd also like to be a mortician.
A mortician?
Yes.
Interesting career choice.
Yeah, I like.
very.
I started golf when I was 3 because my father used to take me to the golf course every day, and so I just kind of grew into the sports.
Oh, you're there every day, so I might as well.
My mom bought me my first set of plastic golf clubs when I was 3, and I used to just putt the golf ball all over the house. Mom used to ask me, Sarafina, what are you doing? But I enjoy golf a lot. It's a fun sport.
So what are some of the tournaments you went to?
I played for the ECGA in 2018. I won a junior golf tournament in 2016.
You gotta be more excited than that. Sir.
Oh,
You
sorry.
Won. How many people? Tell me how many people were in that competition.
Quite a few juniors.
And you won.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Came second actually, but not. Yeah.
That's good enough.
Yeah. And then last year, I came first for the juniors golf tournament again.
That's excellent stuff. That's excellent stuff. How about you, Demar? Tell us about Demar.
Okay,
How old
well,
are you?
I'm 14 years old.
What school do you attend?
I attend the Island Academy International
Island Academy.
School, yes, and I'm in 3rd form. I started playing golf when I was 2 years old. The reason for that was because of my dad and my brother. Because my dad is a golf coach, and my brother, he used to always be pushing me to play. When I was 4 years old, that's when I got my first set of golf clubs. And I used to be playing every day, putting in the yard, chipping in the yard, going to the golf course. And as I got older, I just grew into the game.
So tell us, what are some of your accomplishments so far? Wins, places? What?
While I've been playing golf, I've traveled to many different Caribbean countries and places in the States. Some of the places that I've traveled to in the Caribbean is St. Kitts, St. Lucia, Trinidad. I've been to St. Kitts 5 times. I've played in the junior category 3 times. I've won in the juniors twice and came second once. And last year I participated in the men's category. I came in 3rd place. There was about 40 men playing in the men's
third
category.
place.
Yes.
Last year.
Yes.
So you were 13 then.
Yes, I was. I played in Trinidad twice. The first time I played, I think I came in 4th, and last year I won. And that was for the juniors 13 to 15 category. I also played a few tournaments in Florida, Long Island. I've won 3 golf tournaments in Florida and 1 in Long Island. Yes.
See, and this is the importance of a show like this. Because outside of this forum, I am not absolutely certain that the general public would have an idea that this young man would have won so many tournaments, inclusive of placing in the top 3 in a men's tournament. Let's just let that sink in for a little bit. Yeah. At 13 years old, you're placing 3rd in a men's tournament.
Yeah.
That for me is exceptional.
Yeah. And Demar would have an advantage because his father is a coach. But take, for example, in this year's Antigua Open Championship that ended 2 weekends ago, Sarafina did not mention that she placed second net,
Second gross.
in the tournament, and she played with the female category. She didn't play juniors. Demar also played in the championship category, not just the men, the championship, which are the top 15 golfers. I'm not sure that he placed. You did place.
No, I did not.
He didn't place, but it's commendable that, quite frankly, it would be a waste of Demar's time for him to play with the juniors, right? Because his talent level is that good. Yeah.
So, other than the entire junior program being completely free of cost, and I want parents to remember that, it's completely free.
Yes.
You just take your children, and they're taught the game for nothing. It costs you nothing. So let me say that again. It's completely free. But other than that, Avery, what are some of the plans put in place to grow golf, especially with the youngsters, from the Antigua Barbuda Golf Association point of view? What are some of the initiatives, other than the program being free, that could possibly, in your estimation, improve the level of participation?
Yeah. Over the past few years, we've made a conscious decision, and our strategy is to focus on the youth program. Obviously, they're the future of golf. I play golf, but there's no future in golf for me, obviously. So our strategy has been to focus on the juniors, try to get them into opportunities where their talent is exposed. I would have mentioned tournaments in Florida, and those are the kind of tournaments that we want to get them into, where scouts might be watching, and that would open up opportunities for them. We're also looking at, this year there's a junior tournament in Barbados, where the winners from that tournament will establish a world ranking as a junior tournament, as a junior player. So those are the kind of things that we're looking at. In terms of golf in general, one of the things we keep stressing, when we talk about golf and trying to encourage people into golf, is we do not have enough females playing golf. So that is something that we try to look at, try to come up with innovative ways to get people to the golf course. Get people like yourself to come and watch. Not that I want to pull you away from football, but some point you may want to.
I'm
exactly.
Getting,
so
I'm getting to the point.
You may get there.
I think that I can do something else.
Right. So we just want people to come to the golf course and see what's going on, see if it's something that you think you want to get into. We will help you. It's not a situation where you're going to come and we leave you in the wilderness. We will help you along. The golf club itself, they have also put on quite a number of initiatives to get more people coming to the golf course, and the overall aim is to get more people interested in golf. Period.
Excellent stuff. Excellent stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. President of the Antigua Barbuda Golf Association, Mr. Avery Jonas, and two of his, I would say, based on what I heard, two of the best young players that we have in the country. I mean, they're competing against the adults. So that gives you an idea. Demar, James, Sarafina, Nicholas, we want to thank you guys for joining us on the GN Sports Show. Hopefully we can get you back later in the year so you can give us an update. You can give us an update of your progress, tournaments, all of that good stuff. I want to thank you guys for joining us. So, coming up next is we're going to do a quick recap of the Gomez Netherlands Insurance Youth Football League, and then after that we're going to be joined by our good friend Mr. Astel Joseph, hopefully from Football Profile 268. Oh, before we go, customary shout out. Anybody you guys want to shout out?
Cool and Smooth.
Hey, there's a plug for Cool and Smooth, our friends Amir and Georgia ran it. Cool and Smooth. How about you, Demar?
Cool and Smooth. I would like to say a shout out and thanks to my parents, my friends and family. Yeah.
Excellent stuff. Sorry, Avery, the shout outs only for the kids.
No problem. I would just say thank you for having us.
Definitely. We definitely have to get you back.
Yes.
We're going to take a quick commercial break, and then when we come back, we're going to recap last weekend's results from the Gomez Netherlands Insurance Youth Football League, and we'll jump right into a recap of football generally, second division, first division, and also the Premier Division. Stay tuned. We'll be back after the short commercial break.
Stop bullying. Start caring. Wake up! Face the issue. No more.
For us, everything and everyone in life matters, no matter how small or apparently insignificant. We believe that everyone deserves to be nurtured and protected, to be acknowledged and appreciated. For us, it isn't just about what we do, but why we do it, in serving a purpose far greater than ourselves.
We are State Insurance, helping you to live in a better state of mind.
Women, get to know your bodies. Every day we all become exposed to different viruses and diseases. One of these viruses is the human papillomavirus, or HPV. HPV infection can cause cervical cancer and warts. Cervical cancer is preventable. Get tested by your doctor or at your health center and ask about the HPV vaccine. Join the fight against cervical cancer. Together we can beat it. This is a message by the Ministry of Health, Wellness and the Environment of Antigua and Barbuda and its health partners.
I'm a dengue mozzie. We look for containers of water where we can lay our eggs. Close to your house, we love to suck your blood and bite your legs. We don't live in swamps or rivers. We live in your house day and night. We'll give you dengue fever when we give you a great big bite. We hate it when you spray. It's insect repellent we fear. Throw out that water. We're out of here.
And we're back on the GN Sports Show on ABS. So Ricky, last weekend we had a really exciting weekend of matches at the Gomez Netherlands Insurance Youth Football League. So we're going to do a quick recap through all the divisions from the U7s all the way up to the U15s.
If I may, we'd just like to thank the sponsor.
Yeah, definitely.
For the Gomez Netherlands Insurance Youth Football League, and of course, as the title suggests, our title sponsor is Kenneth A. Gomez and Sons and the Netherlands Insurance. We'd like to thank A.S. Bryden and in particular their brand Milo for being on board with us. Milo is not only a sponsor of but they're also the football sponsors. So the official football is the Milo football. So we'd like to thank them for being on board. And of course Oasis Water. So those sponsors are what make that, and this is the 5th annual event. I think the results are being
results are on screen. I can't see them.
You can see?
I can't see.
Okay, well, we have in the U7 division, Generation X versus Wings with a 3-0 win. Then we go to the U9 division. We have Generation X A versus Generation X1. The one team getting the better of them 4-0. Cutting Edge and Five Islands was a massacre with Five Islands beating them 6-0. And Wings versus Generation X1 with a 2-1 victory for Wings, and I think that should have been corrected to 2-0 win.
2-0. It's actually
2-0 win for Wings. In the U11 division, Wings again was victorious over Generation XA with a 2-1 victory. Generation X1 with a 3-2 victory over Five Islands, and Liberta and Wings came to a draw with 0-0. In the U13 division, Generation X got the better of Wings there with a 3-1 victory. And Generation X blew out Cutting Edge 5-0. In the U15 division, Five Islands dominated Rangers with a 4-0 win. Generation X Rebels with a 0 victory over Cutted Edge, and Willikies defeated Mahaico 2-0. In the female division, or the girls division, Generation X was victorious over Cutting Edge with a 3-0 win, and Trendsetters blew out a massive blowout to Willikies with an 8-0 win. And those were the scores for that Gomez that weekend that's the 4th week I think it was. The Gomez Netherlands Charlotte Youth Football League, and I think we're coming up to the standings now. Well, I hope I'm finding it difficult to read it from here, but my eyesight is not as what it used to be. But I think the audience and the viewing audience can see that. But Generation X Rebels is leading that, followed by Liberta, Earthquakes, and we just leave it at the top 3. In the under 9s, Liberta is in 1st place. Generation X Rebels 1 team is in 2nd place, and Wigs is in 3rd. In the under 11 division, Generation X Rebels 1 team is in 1st place, followed by Liberta Blackhawks.
No, actually,
Earthquakes
is in 2nd.
Is in 2nd.
Liberta
Blackhawks is in 3rd. The screen is not even visible to Zico, and he's reading it better than I am. And I have glasses on.
In the U13s, we have Generation X FC leading the way, followed by Cutting Edge.
Yes.
And 3rd place in the U13 division is Mahaico. In the U15s, Willikies leads the pack, followed by New Evolution FC and Generation X FC rounding off the top 3 in our U15 division. And finally, our female division, that's topped by Cutting Edge FCA, and they followed closely by Trendsetters FC and our very own Generation X FC Rebels, rounding off the top 3 positions in the female division. So, Ricky, exciting stuff.
And one thing I must say, Zico, is that the girls' division seems to have the biggest fan support.
Yes, I enjoy watching the females play, and it's just like we mentioned a couple of weeks before the tournament, the league started. A lot of our ladies just want an opportunity to play, and it doesn't matter. A lot of these girls have put teams together, not necessarily from the same community, not necessarily from the same places on the island, but they just want an opportunity to play. And we're really seeing some good turnout in terms of the female division, and it's a huge, right now I think it's a fan favorite. And I mean, the girls are doing their stuff, getting in, having fun, enjoying themselves, but most importantly, they're playing, and that's the most important thing. And as we mentioned at the start, our league runs every Saturday at the AstroTurf or the Technical Training Center. You can stop in. It's completely free. The gates are never locked. It's free football. Come enjoy, watch the youngsters play, and you will see an incredible display of talent. It tells me that our future, as far as footballers in the country go, is really, really bright based on what we see week in and week out.
And of course, we'd love to thank the Antigua and Barbuda Football Association for affording us the opportunity of utilizing that wonderful facility.
I mean, the surface is excellent, and what I've found is generally the players are improving because they're being exposed to a surface every week that allows them to play and allows them to practice proper technique, because you don't have to worry about the surface being
uneven bunks
and unless and until you understand the difficulty in playing on other surfaces, you're not going to see the importance of having that true surface to work on. But I've seen a massive improvement in a lot of these youngsters from 2-3 years ago when we started using the AstroTurf. And again, we want to say thank you to the Antigua Barbuda Football Association for allowing us to continue our program at the technical center.
Yes, and it's really fantastic. And this year, of course, we reformatted the league so that we can afford all the divisions. Because over the last couple of years, a lot of the players would come to me, and I'm sure they came to you too, saying that we don't like them because they're on the 15s and on the 17s were playing.
They were playing
on the other surfaces.
On other surfaces.
So now this year, they're all playing at the one surface.
Everybody gets a chance to enjoy playing on a nice flat surface that you could actually work on and see good quality football. And ultimately, that's our improvement. But more importantly, giving the players a sense of importance, giving them a sense of worth. And at the end of the day, this is where our national team trains. So as a youngster, if I'm growing up and I have access to the same field that our senior men and women train on, that's something that I look forward to every weekend.
Yes, and as we await the arrival of Astel, hopefully very soon, I would just like to divert to some news that we, I mean, yesterday was one of the most exciting days for the year at Generation X Football Club, because we have our very own Christian Corbett that is presently in the Mansfield Town Academy setup, and they also, Mansfield teams up with the Brooksby Melton College, where Chris goes to school, of course, along with his teammate who got in. Okay, his teammate is not from Antigua, but he got in through the Generation X Football Club. That's Lecky Shadonki. He's an English kid, and both Chris and himself have made a massive difference to that team, because it's for the first time they reached the finals.
But they not only reached the finals, Ricky.
They won the cup.
They won the cup. So we want to say congratulations to Chris and Lecky. But somehow I think that's not where the story ends. You wouldn't be that excited just because they won the cup. So no. I think you're holding out on me.
Well, I'm holding out on two things with you. But it's going, I have to ease it in. No. Lecky, what we refer to him as is the goal scoring machine.
I think by my calculations, I think he's probably high 20s in terms of goal scoring.
I think he's close to 30 in terms of goals. Close to 30. I think he's averaging over 3 goals per match, which is fantastic. And once again, through the GNFC organization, he's just gotten a pro contract with Highgate United Football Club. But while he's at Highgate, because he's a professional now because he's being paid, while he's at Highgate United Football Club, I got them to still keep him in the Mansfield Town
so he could complete
Academy.
School.
So not only that he could complete school, but Mansfield is in a higher division.
Yes.
They're in Division 2.
Highgate is non-league.
Is a non-league. They're in what they call the Midlands League.
Premier Division.
Premier Division.
That's a non-league. I think that's 3rd or 4th tier. Maybe a little bit lower. But Mansfield is actually
in the 2nd division.
2nd division in England.
Or what they call League 2.
League 2.
So I got them to keep him in the academy, so that the prospects of course, once he performs well, which undoubtedly we think he will, that they will take notice in Mansfield and he will go into the Mansfield or another club.
Yeah, that's always an option.
Yeah, but it is a start, and we're extremely proud. Of course, we are wishing the same for Christian, but Christian is not quite yet there. But we have high hopes for him. As a matter of fact, I was just informed today that the Mansfield Town Academy team it will be traveling to Valencia.
Spain.
And they will be playing against other academies from other professional clubs in Spain, besides Valencia, of course. And of course, at Generation X, what we do, we jump on board. From the time I got a hint of it.
Surprise, Ricky.
I made a phone call.
Why am I not surprised that you did?
I made a phone call to Mansfield.
Let me hear it. So what was the prognosis? After your phone call, what did you get Mansfield to commit to? Because I know you are not making any phone calls unless there's something happening for Generation X and by extension players. So that's what I'm interested in. Yes, you made your call to Mansfield. Yes, I know. I expect that. So what I'm waiting to hear now is, what did you get these good people to commit to doing for you again?
Well, what I indicated to them, and
indicated.
Well, what I indicated
or
to
probably
them
what you
is that
strongly indicated.
Okay, what I stressed to them is that as you're going over there, you already have 2 kids that are performing well, that came into your organization because of us. Now we have a lot more over here. And this is not going to be a competition where it enhances your status. It's a friendly. You're going over there to see how you compete against the academies in Spain. So what I would like you to do is to accommodate some of our players from Antigua, and in particular, of course, Generation X. Now we have 4 Hall of Famers from Generation X. You know, every year Generation X we have those who have left, those who are 17 or over that have left the club, because our cutoff age is 17. some of them are afforded the opportunity to become in a Hall of Fame. So we have 4 Hall of Famers that are now on track to head off to Mansfield to play with their academy under their banner. And the exposure, we don't know what could happen. Nothing could happen, or something could happen.
Something can.
But they can go there.
You're in a position that something can happen.
So they've agreed to the 4. However, before I release 4. It started off with 2, but
you think?
It started off with 2, but I got them up to 4. But before I release the names, because they have to clear it with Spain on the overseas players coming up to play under the academy that's not really in their setup. So once they're clear, and they have also indicated to me that it should not be a problem, and I hope this is not a problem because I don't want to make a phone call to Valencia.
I'm pretty sure. I know the Ricky that I know will make that phone call if it's necessary. So let's hope that all things check out and we can get our youngsters into that situation where, you know what, it's a different atmosphere, it's a different learning curve, it's a different learning experience, but more importantly, it's an opportunity.
Yeah, it's an
a chance. It's being exposed, and once we put that in place, it then becomes the onus is then on the player to show up and perform and to see what else can happen.
And one of the opportunities to this that I'm really excited about, and I have something else to release next week anyway, but what I'm really excited about this is that if one of those 4 go up there, and one of them are exposed in Spain, and let's say a club in Spain or Mansfield or one of the other clubs pick up this player, that gives recognition to Antigua, and by extension to all of Antiguans, because then they're going to start saying, okay, well, what's so special about down there in Antigua? We seem to, we have one Antiguan in the academy, and let's say we get another 1 or 2, and not necessarily in Mansfield, let's say in Spain,
somewhere else,
or even somewhere else in the UK, and they say, well, let's start paying attention to Antigua. Let's come down there. They must be doing something right down there.
Yeah, I mean,
so it's not impossible.
No, it's not.
But we're not offering false hopes at the same time. I don't want to offer false hope that this is a guaranteed.
No, this is just giving you a chance to be in a professional setup for a week and a half. The opportunity is presented to you. You now have to go show what you're worth, impress who you need to impress, and see how it works. While we're on Mansfield, just to reiterate, we mentioned this, our advanced academy, we're going to start an advanced section of Generation X come September with the help of our good friends from Mansfield Town. And as part of that advanced academy, they're going to be here in June, and they're going to do a coaching clinic for a week, and that is open to anyone. Again, that is open. Obviously, there's that registration that's necessary, but once it's not closed to Generation Next players, because at the end of the day, if we don't have the player that they're looking for, but that player is available from another club, then by all means.
Yes, and I want to stress again with the Advanced Academy starting up. Of course, the onus will be on yourself. We've identified 4 coaches that are going to be part. Of course, you're going to be the head. Then we have Lenny Hewlett. We have Shakimba Williams.
Janelle
Simon, the goalkeeper coach. And hopefully within the next month or so, we'll have the under 13 division,
and then we'll announce who that coach is.
And then we'll announce who the coach is. So we have 4 coaches so far already agreed to, and the framework is all there. We're supposed to be yourself, myself, and the people from and the head of the academy and the head coach supposed to be having a Skype call to start to get things in place for when they come down. That they're going to bring down their literature. Of course, we're going to have to tweak it. Well, I would assume that you
make
guys
it suitable for players. But what I wanted to mention was that one of the things that we have to understand, and I firmly believe this, based on my experience at university and even playing for the national team, talent is equally distributed. You have talent for every single sporting discipline everywhere in the world. What isn't equally distributed is opportunities. And one of the things that we're really big on at Generation Next is to finding the opportunities that best suit the players we have and see how best we can make them available. It's unrealistic for me to sit here and to tell parents, listen, if you send your kids to Generation Next, we can get professional tryouts for your child. No, that's not what we're about. We're about developing youngsters, and if you're good enough, whatever opportunity that we can find and we can make available for the level that you are at the moment, we'll do our very best to get that done. And that is our goal with the Advanced Academy opening up in September. One of the things that I wanted to stress, and we're going to keep stressing this and we're going to continue, is that being accepted or being invited into the Advanced Academy doesn't take you away from your club. As a matter of fact, it's quite the opposite. What we're trying to do is to emphasize the importance for these same players to stay with their clubs, because ultimately they are going to help develop the same youngsters that they're going to be playing with during competitions. Obviously, when it comes to competitions that the academy is going to participate in, we expect them to play with us, but outside of that, we fully expect them to be an integral part of helping to raise the profile of the players that they have to associate and play with every week. So we don't want people to feel like, you know what, getting an invitation to the Advanced Academy at Generation X means that I have to play for Generation X. No, we're actually encouraging and we're actually hoping that most of the players stay with their clubs. All we're offering you is a framework where you can train consistently even outside of the football season, because one of the things that helps development is continuous training and continuous games. And really and truly, our football seasons in Antigua, even at the men's level, is completely too short for players to develop as well and as quickly as they want to develop. And that's one of the things that the Advanced Academy is going to look at, ensuring that our youngsters get quality training consistently. And that is going to raise their level of play, and by extension, if they stay with their clubs, raise the level of their clubs.
And then the other two components, of course, of the, and that I would like to stress with the well, three actually, with the Advanced Academy. One is that it's going to be no charge, because of course the Calvinia Foundation
is fully on board.
They are the benefactor, so they've covered all the costs. It's no cost to the parents, no cost to the kids. They'll be issued their uniforms.
Training gear,
we have
travel,
all the equipment.
uniforms to travel to game, to training sessions, all of that will be taken care of. And from my understanding, the Calvinia Foundation is going to be on board with us for the next 3 years.
Yes.
So absolutely ready to go from September for 3 years, get the ball rolling, work on these children, get them developed. Hopefully within that time, realistic opportunities for school, because it's important. And I think the other component you were alluding to, SATs, free SAT classes, because ultimately, as many students as we can possibly get receiving a university education, that goes a long way. We may not have all the players being able to be professional players, but if we can get the framework started that these kids can receive a higher education, that in itself will raise the profile and raise their quality of life coming back home, being able to sustain themselves and sustain their families by getting better than decent jobs if they didn't have that university education.
And talking about the university education, of course, we've kept on top of all the applicants, all the scholars rather, and all the application process from the responses that I've received from their parents and some from the youngsters themselves, is that the application process is more or less complete. Now it's just for the academic results, the SATs. Once that goes through, then all 15
are ready to go.
Well,
hopefully,
I'm told that one will not be accepting it, but hopefully that individual will do it next year. The parents have some concerns about the maturity level.
And that's understandable.
That's understandable, and we never second guess a parent's decision. So we know one will not be going unless the parent changes his or her mind. But that's unfortunate. But I said the parent's decision is they know their child.
The good thing about it is that combine is going to be continuous. So those coaches, and hopefully we can get maybe 2 or 3 more, they're going to be here the same time next year doing another set of tryouts to identify talent. So for us, it's an ongoing process.
Well, we have two other coaches that will be coming on here. One will be coming from the PDL League, and one from a junior college. And we might replace one of the coaches that came down here because none of the kids have gone to his university, all have gone to one. Yeah. So I make no bones about it. I make no bones. If you didn't have one, then we have to look
at another option.
It's not that it's ruled out, but I'm having discussions with.
We'll see how it goes. And for me, the more coaches that are here, the more chances that we could have kids placed in multiple universities.
And I would also like to thank the Prime Minister's Scholarship Fund, and in particular Maurice Merchant, because all of the scholars got 50% of the university fees, and the Prime Minister's Scholarship Fund has agreed to fund the balance of the process. And if I'm not mistaken, again, almost all have gone through the process and made the applications, and I feel very confident that everything will go through. So I'm very optimistic that at least 14 will be going up.
Excellent stuff. Really, really good things happening.
But as we said before, we're not going to release the names until we know that they are.
I know you're itching to release.
Oh,
those
you know me.
know,
You know me well.
I know you're itching to release those names, Ricky. But I mean, obviously, the parents have to make all the arrangements, and then once that is finished, and they let us know, listen, yes, we're ready to go. Then we'll make those names, we'll make those announcements, because it's important. It's important that we understand and we have an idea of the children who have put in the work, because they did. For that entire week, they were really, really good. They were really committed. Coaches were impressed, and like you said, I mean, all the offers came from one school, and so realistically, maybe we can include someone different, and we can add a little bit more going to other universities as opposed to just one. I mean, but at the end of the day, we are thankful that 15 offers were made, and hopefully we can fill as many of those spots as possible.
I know, Zico, you're not the numbers guy because you do PE, but we had 2 coaches that came down here for that combine, right? We got 15 scholarships. We're bringing down 4. What do you think? 30? We're looking for 30?
Yeah, why not? I mean, hey, if one school could offer you 15, I think then
if we bring down 4, we're looking at 30,
yeah,
right?
we could squeeze another 15 out of the other 3 combined.
Exactly.
I mean, if the other 3 if the other 3 make 5 offers apiece, we got our number.
Right.
Because the problem the good gentleman may have run into with offering 15, he set the bar really, really high.
Yes.
So coming back next year, and he I mean, hey, dude, last year you offered 15. You can't tell me this year you can only offer 5.
You can't go low.
You can't tell me. You can't
you
tell
match
me.
or higher.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, all in all, the more scholarship offers that our players get, our children get, the better things are going to be, and the better I feel about the whole situation. What I was really, really happy about is, believe it or not, for that week, I had absolutely nothing to do with any of the sessions. And by extension, we had absolutely nothing to do with the selection that the coaches made. Because usually when these things happen, that's one of the things that people are really, really conscious about. What's the connection? And if I'm not mistaken, out of the 15, I think there was only one
from Generation Next.
So, hey, believe it or not, and it may sound weird, I was actually happier about that than anything else.
Well, it shows the sincerity of what we're doing.
It gives the general public an idea of where we're coming from, and this is not exclusive to Generation Next. This is not us looking out only for our players, because the reality is, did we have 15 players of the quality that the coaches were looking for? No, we didn't.
Right.
And so the reality is, if those amounts are available and we don't have that amount within the club, then it's only right and fair that we open it up to everybody else. And that's the idea about the combine, giving everyone an opportunity. And at the end of the day, the opportunity is there. It's presented, it's available, and it's up to the players now to make the best of it.
Well, what the coaches actually have asked, and I'm looking at it very seriously actually, is if we can open up the combine to the neighboring islands. And so that is something that we're looking at. Logistically, it's going to be a lot of work in terms of getting it all set up in timing and the whole works. But we are looking at it, and it is a possibility that the neighboring islands will be invited to participate in the combine too. And I'm glad that you mentioned that the numbers in terms of how many players from Generation X were afforded the scholarship, and unfortunately we only had one. I would have liked more, but
it just means that our kids have to put in the work.
Exactly.
And as a coach, we have to get them to that level where this is what coaches are looking for. This is what you need to do.
Well, something you would have been happy. I know you were training the national side today, so you weren't at our training session. In the under 15, I had a word with a lot of the parents and said there's no guarantee that the Generation X players will get into the academy, though it would be embarrassing if we had a minimal number of players in there. That we are starting up this academy, and it's open to all Antigua, and we have 2 or 3 or 1 under 15 from Generation X in it. So until they start to come to practice and not only come to matches, they're spoiling their chances. Ezekiel, we had 22 under 15 players there today. 22.
Where did you get them from? Anyway, that's a different conversation.
All Generation X players, 22 under 15.
Well, I'm trying to figure out where we got 22.
Well, obviously, because I spoke to the parents and said they have to come to training. If they're not attending training, that means they're not serious about their development. That means the academy may be affected by not getting into the academy. So I said,
Ricky, on that note, we are going to take a commercial break. And when we come back, Dr. Rick Millis from the American University of Antigua will join us with our usual sport, health, and wellness segment. Stay tuned. We'll be back with more from the GN Sports Show.
Daddy, why can't we use the regular containers and instead of the recycling bags, why can't we use plastic bags?
Remember this word, right? Environment. You understand? I'm going to show you why we can't use the foam or the plastic bags anymore. Because environment, the key word, the environment. Let me show you. You see this? This is the reason why we have to get rid of plastic and styrofoam. This will hurt the environment. We are a tourist destination. Everybody's supposed to use Cook's Dump. That's what they're supposed to be using. We have to embrace the change. We have to accept. I know people arguing about plastic and everything, but to protect our 365 beaches, our island, our beautiful tourist-loving Antigua Barbuda, we have to embrace the change. Please clean up. Pick up where you use up. Let's clean up. Keep Antigua and Barbuda clean. You understand what I'm saying to you, baby?
Dad, I have an idea. I'm going to do my part in protecting the environment by using recyclables and cleaning up for my sister and I.
Many people struggle to maintain a lasting relationship, sometimes opening up to someone, believing they are different, only to be disappointed. They say there's always some madness in love, but there's also some reason in madness. Matters of the heart. Let's find the solution together.
We look for containers of water where we can lay our eggs. Close to your house, we love to suck your blood and bite your legs. We don't live in swamps or rivers, we live in your house day and night. We'll give you dengue fever when we give you a great big bite. We hate it when you spray, it's insect repellent we fear. Throw out that water, we're out of here.
Here it is. In case of an earthquake and the place not shaking. Drop, cover, and hold on. Drop, cover, and hold on. In case of an earthquake,
there's a few tips that can keep you from harm. In case of an earthquake, you gotta stay calm. Move away from doors, windows, and things that can fall. Try not to use steps or elevators at
head on your face. Don't go running all over the place. Cover under a bed or a table, against a wall that's firm and stable.
Hold on.
You must hold on, don't panic, stay calm.
Don't move until the shaking stops.
Here it is.
Drop, cover, and hold on.
Drop, cover, and hold on in case of an earthquake.
Drop, cover, and hold on.
Learn how to protect yourself during an earthquake. Log on to weready.org. That's weready.org for more information.
Stop bullying. Start caring. Wake up. Face the issue. No more.
Women, get to know your bodies. Every day, we all become exposed to different viruses and diseases. One of these viruses is the human papillomavirus, or HPV. HPV infection can cause cervical cancer and warts. Cervical cancer is preventable. Get tested by your doctor or at your health center and ask about the HPV vaccine. Join the fight against cervical cancer. Together we can beat it. This is a message by the Ministry of Health, Wellness and the Environment of Antigua and Barbuda and its health partners.
With the CARICOM Single Market and Economy, CSME, opportunities to relocate for work as a CARICOM skilled national have been expanded to include 10 categories of persons. 2 of those categories are artisans and household domestics holding a Caribbean Vocational Qualification, or CVQ. A CVQ is a certificate you can apply for based on how well you do your job. If you are certified as a household domestic, including housekeepers and home health workers, or an artisan, including persons in the building trade, craft persons, and machine operators, you could be eligible to move for work. CVQ standards have been developed with regional employers, so your skills will be recognized wherever you go. Contact your national training agency to find out about CVQs for artisans or household domestics, or visit csmeonline.org for more information. The CARICOM Single Market and Economy. Make it work for you.
So we're back, ladies and gentlemen, and as usual, whenever we have the GN Sports Show, we wrap things up with Dr. Rick Millis from the American University of Antigua School of Medical Science. And Dr. Rick is joining us as usual, and we're going to have our sports health wellness segment. Take it away, Dr. Rick. I think we're talking about strength training. That was the last thing we looked at.
Yes, yes.
Excellent.
Good to be back. I was watching the show earlier. I saw you guys started a little late, so I wasn't sure we were actually on, but I see we're on. So that's great. I'm very happy to be back, and I hope with our new set here and all the other stuff I hear about, everything will be fine at ABS.
So let's jump right in. The last time we met, we spoke about strength training generally, and I think this week I want to segue a little bit into strength training specifically for females. Because one of the misconceptions that we have when it comes to strength training and women, that, oh, I don't want to look like a man. So give us an idea of the importance, first of all, the importance and the benefits of strength training for women, and just try to elude some of the fears that the average female would have in terms of getting into strength training and eventually looking like a dude.
Yes, well, we don't really have to worry about that too much, usually, unless the woman goes all out and spends all day in the gym and takes all kind of protein and creatine and everything else. And, you know, androgenic steroids that are going to make her look like a man. So no, but they do look a little more, you know, muscular. And that's the new kind of sexy look for women. Come on. I think they like that. And I think Michelle Obama had a lot to do with that. If you noticed how, you know, how she bulked up a little bit after she became First Lady. But anyway, for women, it's very important to do this strength training, as it is for everybody. I mean, but especially for women after menopause, because they lose the estrogen, that is the feminizing hormones in their body. And that feminizing hormone in the body is maintaining their bone density. Okay? The only way to maintain the bone density without drugs after menopause, when you lose the estrogen, is by strength training, weight training. It's the best way. I mean, true, if you do go to the gym and you run on the treadmill, it helps a little, but not nearly as much as strength training.
But if the women did the strength training at an earlier part in their life instead of after menopause, would that help them?
Absolutely.
As they get to the menopause?
Absolutely, it would help them quite a bit, because then they'll increase their bone density earlier, and when menopause comes along, it's just logically they're going to have more of a store of calcium in their bones, more hardness in their bones, and it's going to take them longer to lose it, especially if they've developed the habit of strength training when they're teenagers and they carry it into adulthood. That would be the best.
So for instance, would that affect their mood swings? So when a woman is going to, if they have better strength training, bone density, or that's something completely different?
That's something completely different,
Okay,
that's actually quite a good question. I don't know it's ever been studied. Maybe we ought to study it. But the question is the technique now. You know, a lot of women, even men, don't want to spend a long time in the gym. And what's happened to us is we sit all day, right? By the way, in the 21st century, in the 20th century, the thing that killed us all was smoking, right? And now in the 21st century, sitting is the new smoking. It's responsible for so much disease and death just from, sitting around all day.
Just not being active.
Not being active, losing our muscle, and putting on weight. So absolutely, strength training helps everybody. Women after menopause especially. But the technique is very important. So for people who don't want to spend a lot of time in the gym, in the past 5 to 10 years, we've learned that there's some exercises they can do that will speed up their development of strength. And we call this exercises with eccentric muscle contractions. So if you see my arm, if I do a curl with a weight, okay, if you do a curl with a weight, I'm lifting the weight, and I'm bringing it up like this, and then I usually just drop it. The muscle relaxes. That's called a concentric exercise, right?
Because the muscle is contracting.
The muscle is contracting, and the biceps is shortening as the biceps contract. Then when I do this, the biceps relaxes. I'm really not doing much for the triceps back here. But if you do it like this, if you increase it slowly, if you bring it up slowly, and then as you bring it down, you don't drop it, but you bring it down slowly, and that is you try to maintain tension or force on the biceps as well as the triceps. At the same time, you're actually doubling the effect. You get the double effect.
So you're doing twice the amount of work in the same single.
Exactly, and it's called eccentric exercise. And this eccentric contraction really brings about muscle strength much faster, with less time in the gym, and it's actually much easier to do because you don't have to do as many repetitions. I would probably have to do 30 or 40 repetitions like this with a weight of 10, 15, 20 pounds, right? But with that same weight, I can do 10 eccentric contractions like this
and get the same result.
And get a better result because I'm working both muscle groups.
But the difference in weight that you're using, does that make any effect on your strength training?
Yes, of course, of course. So the rule of thumb is, what you want to do is fatigue as many muscle fibers as you can. So you try to start out, as we said before, at about 50% to 60% of the 1 RM load.
Right.
Remember what that 1 RM load was? That 1 RM load was the weight that you're going to only do one repetition with. If you start doing then 50 to 60% of that, it's going to build up the strength. And then you build it up to more and more, closer and closer to the 1 RM load as you feel fit. But the whole idea is to fatigue those muscles. If your muscles are not fatigued, that means you're not doing enough. Now, either you're not using enough weight, or the other thing could be is you're not doing enough repetitions. So there's two ways to do it. And the better way to do it for people who are starting out is to use lighter weights and do more repetitions. You're less likely to damage the muscles by doing that.
So you're looking at me and said that's what you're trying to do.
Exactly.
That's what I just said.
And you know, and yes, especially since we said sitting is the new smoking. If somebody is smoking and sitting,
double whammy.
No, you're picking on me, Doc. No, you're picking on me.
Exactly.
Hint, Ricky.
Exactly.
Hint.
So that's the kind of thing we want to get people to do. If they start doing this eccentric exercise, then they can spend less time in the gym and get a better result. And for people who are not sure exactly how to do it, even though I tried to show them, that may not be that good. I don't have a weight. Go online, go on YouTube, and just Google or YouTube eccentric exercise video, and there are plenty of videos and plenty of training videos that people can learn from just on YouTube. You don't have to rely on just guessing about it, you see? So eccentric exercise. The other exercise we call isometric. Isometric is just push or pull on something you can't move. I can't move a wall, so I push against the wall, right? And that's called isometric because actually my muscles are not changing their length because I can't push the walls, and I can't push the wall. I can't move. But
it's maintaining that contraction.
But it's maintaining that tension, that force, and you can fatigue your muscle fibers just by doing that. Sitting at your desk, you can pull up on your chair like this. And I can fatigue my muscles just by doing that. Just sitting in chair. So there's many things that people can do to maintain their strength. Then there's even other things. So there's these exercises called plyometric exercises. Plyometric exercises are exercises where you're actually jumping around. In other words, you get down in a crouched position like this, and you jump forward as far as you can and back as you can, as many times as you can. That builds strength in your legs, and just the jumping.
And the whole idea behind plyometrics is using your own body weight.
That's
and
correct.
Using different movements.
Using your own body weight and your own resistance. Another thing I do, since we're here on an island and we've got plenty of water, don't we? Is we get in the water and I do deep water running. In deep water running, I'm in water over my head. My head is outside of the water. You know, I actually don't like to put my head in the water and swim. For some reason, it just doesn't appeal to me. So I keep my head outside of the water. I'm in an upright position and I'm making running movements through the water. And I have my hands cupped here, so I'm moving against the water. I'm using the resistance of the water as weights. And I'm doing that with my arms, and I could do it with my arms alone. I could do it with my legs alone and stay up because you can practice this. And you can do it with your arms and legs together. That's the best, to make sure you don't drown. And it's almost equivalent to weight training to maintain your strength. So there's so many things a person can do.
I think it's so difficult to start these discussions with Dr. Millis because we always seem to run out of time. But I think what we can talk about next week, Dr. Rick, is the other alternatives, like you mentioned, plyometric exercises or deep sea running. What are some of the other alternatives to the basic weight training or the basic strength training? I think that's a pretty good idea for our discussion next week.
Sure,
And
we
so
can talk about plyometrics and other things.
That's my excuse.
That's
Yes.
your excuse.
Yeah, that's
it's
my
boring.
excuse.
That's why you don't do
Yes,
it.
that's why I don't do it.
That's your excuse.
And I'm sticking to it.
And it's also takes a lot of concentration. As we said before, if you do strength training properly, you're thinking about what you're doing all the time to make sure you're using the right muscle groups, to make sure you're fatiguing the muscles enough, to make sure that you are resting enough in between sets. All of that plays a big role. And then, of course, taking those supplements, a little extra protein in your diet,
A little bit of creatine.
creatine, all of that stuff. So,
Well, definitely be sure to join us next week because we're going to segue into other alternatives to the traditional strength training. I think that's going to make for an excellent discussion. Dr. Rick is going to be back next week. We're going to have another packed show for you next week on the GN Sports Show. Before we go, I want to thank everyone for joining us. I want to give a quick shout out to my good friend and my young cousin Malik in CV Farm. If I don't shout him out, I'm going to be in trouble tomorrow. I'm pretty sure he's still up. So shout out to Malik. We definitely want to thank our sponsors for making the make Generation Next Football Club possible. Remember, as Ricky said, we're still looking sponsors for the show here on ABS. So be sure, drop him a line. We get you on board. I want to thank my producer, thank Ricky, Damien, the whole crew at ABS for giving us the opportunity to get the word out. I want to thank everyone for joining us on Facebook, on ABS Radio and ABS TV. Be sure to tune in next week for another packed show on the GN Sports Show. But unfortunately, we've run out of time, and this is where we say goodnight. Thank you for joining us.
ABS, first in news, sports, and entertainment. The Nation Station.